data table and download. And let me open up the maps application, and here let's load up an existing favorite item. So the favorite item that I'm going to check is HIV tests performed by facility for over last 6 months. This one. I will just load this favorite item, and this is what I am seeing. So let us see what the component of this text. Yeah, it has the base map, and then HIV test performed. The thematic layer is there, right? And then we also have the boundaries, the boundary layer. Okay, right. So we have the base map, HIV test performed thematic layer, and the boundary layer is there, right? So let us try to do something different as opposed to what we have seen so far. So I'm going to use this More Actions button, right? I just click on the More Actions button next to this thematic layer, right? And then I just click here, and I'm going to open, I'm going to click on this option called Data Table, right? More options, Data Table. And when I do that, what do I see? So I'm seeing something really interesting. So basically what I am seeing is kind of like the output that you are getting if I had a pivot table or a tabular output generated from DHIS2. So we are inside the maps module, but we are still able to see in a table the values that contributed to the visualization that you see in the maps module. Okay. So here, let us see what we see in this table. We are seeing an index column, and we are seeing the names. The names, of course, are the health facilities. And the most importantly, we are seeing the value. So this is the value based on which the visualization appears, right? All this color coding, the legends, I mean, this visualization, entire visualization is there based on the values that are mentioned here, right? And also we are seeing the range, right? For individual values, you can see this class. Can you see? So here we have 118 to 7,351, the range that we are seeing here, right? And also we are seeing the level of the org unit that we are seeing, that we are looking at, which is level 4. And we are also seeing the parent of this individual organization unit. And this is, of course, the org unit ID, and what type of shapes are these? These are whether these are points or polygons. So because we are looking at the facility layer, it's all points. And then the color code apply for each of these health facility based on this value. So you can see the nicely the color yellow for this range. Is that clear? So how this becomes important? One thing is we can at a glance see, right, how they are, and maybe I mean, like, this is otherwise not possible. We have to, you know, browse through the map like this to see what is the value, right? Here, of course, we can have a listing of all the health facilities along with their value. That's one advantage. The other thing is we can, in fact, do sorting, right? So if we want to sort it based on the value from lowest to highest, ascending or descending, that is possible. Can you see? When you click on the column header, you can do the sorting, which is also a very great requirement. And one other interesting thing is we can actually filter out and display the facilities based on a particular criteria defined on the value, right? So for example, let us see, we just want to see the facilities which are reporting a value less than 2000. We don't want to see all these 30,000 odd values, facilities which has that many values, but we want to actually see the facilities which have performed less than 2000 HIV tests. So what we can do is we can actually define it here. So I will just put less than 2000. You see, right? When I do that, it does two things. I have selected here less than 2000, right? And then number one, what it does is it will only list out the values in this table, which is fulfilling this criteria. Okay, so that you are seeing here. That is one. And the other thing, if you look at this map, you are only seeing that the map is now containing only the health facilities based on the criteria you have defined here, right? So you are not seeing all these organization units which had, or the health facilities which had this high number of tests performed. Can you see? So that's the advantage of using this. And maybe, I mean, we can even type a further advanced one, right? So I want to see the values which are less than 2000, but I will define and more than 500, right? So you can now see whatever values that I'm seeing are from 500 to 2000. You see that, right? You are not seeing any values which are less than that, right? So that way you can actually, you can use and even, um, you know, narrow it down further. So that's a nice way of filtering uh, for the entire table as well as the map visualization. So you can do this using this data table. So this is a really fascinating feature that I have seen across the years, which has been added to the DHIS2. Any questions on this? And also here you can still arrange it from highest to lowest, lowest to highest. That is also possible. And you can even close this. And you just have an additional option of filtering other than the filtering that you apply here. Now you know that you can apply the filter here, right? Without doing that, we can also filter out based on values by using the data table. Can you all see? Let me do something else. Let me also put the labels so that I will know which one are which. Doesn't look that neat though. Yeah, it depends on the value. Oh, sorry. Can colors change? Can colors change? Yes, can colors change? Of course, it can change based on the legend that you have set up here, right? So here, why everything is appearing yellow is because I have filtered out only the values between 500 to 2000, right? But you can do this nice visualization based on DHIS2. Okay. Now, let me also show here another functionality which I mean, like this may be just at the tip of your tongue to ask this question. Now, we do all these magics and nice visualizations in maps in DHIS2. What if we want to incorporate this map in a report? Of course, this is possible. How this is possible is by downloading this map. How do you download this map? It's very easy. You can click on the download button. But before doing that, one disclaimer. Now, when you click on this download button and download something, remember this, it is actually trying to capture what you are seeing here. Okay. So if you have zoomed it like this, right, this is the point you end up and you try to click on download, this is exactly what it is going to capture, not the entire training land. So make sure that you place it nicely the way you want, right? You place your map nicely the way you want first and then proceed to download. Okay, otherwise you will just see only a part of your map, a part of the training land which is appearing, right? So you arrange that first. That is step number one, that you do that first. Okay, and then you click on the download button. So when you click on the download button, it'll ask you a couple of options. One thing is whether to show the name or not. So if you click the show name, and you can see the preview, I mean this the background image, it will show the preview. So if you untick the show name, you see that the name is not appearing. So if you want the name, ideally you should have the name, you click there. And then whether you want to show the legend or not. So if you untick it, you will see that legend is not appearing in the image that you are taking. But if you want to have the legend, we can select where exactly in the image the legend should appear. So right now it's at the right bottom corner here. But if I click here, you will see that it is actually displaying on right top, here left top, here left bottom. So I have left some space here, so I prefer to have the legend displaying somewhere here. That's it. And I click on download, and then this should, in fact, give it a couple of seconds, it should download as a png. Let me click this and open. And there you go. This is exactly the image that was as it was loaded. And we have, sorry, I'm not thinking, let me just share it. So this is the image that you are seeing, right? It is as it is, how you saw it in the Maps application. You have the name appearing, and then you have the training land along with the facilities and their labels and the legend appearing here. Okay. So it's also another nice feature that was recently added from 2.32. And this image, you can include it in a presentation or as a Word document, which has a report. So you can do so many things with this kind of images that you have downloaded, right? So it's a cool feature, right? So let me now show something a bit techy. Now to show that, let me just not use the training land. Let us now go to the play demo. You all are familiar with the DHIS2 play version. So I'm just trying to open the DHIS2 play version and show you something really cool. Okay, so I'm going to click on play.dhis2.org. Yeah, before that, are you all with me? So I'm going to click on 2.341, which is of course this one. Any questions up to this point? I hope I have been, are there any questions? All right, okay. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so hope you all can see this is the DHIS2 play demo version, which everyone is familiar with. So I'm going to click the credentials, admin district, and I'm going to enter. Right, so here I will go to maps, the DHIS2 play. And let me open up one favorite item. The item I'm going to open up is about IPT. So let me take IPT coverage this year as the particular favorite item. I'm going to click on IPT coverage this year and let's see what happens. All right. So here, I mean, IPT, maybe you are familiar. It's about a malaria intermittent therapy that is usually provided to high-risk groups such as pregnant mothers. So here, what you are seeing here is the IPT second dose sub IPT2 coverage for this country. I hope everyone is familiar with this country, which this is Sierra Leone, right? So you are seeing, if you look at the legends, the coverage you are seeing, I mean, at different levels, but let's not focus much on the coverages that you are seeing here, but you are seeing that you have some low values as well as high values, right? So this is the map that I am concerned about. Okay, right. So now let me show you a cool feature. I'm going to click on more actions, right? And then I click on download data. So remember, this is something different to what I was explaining before. Here, when you click on download button, it will actually download a PNG image, right? It's an image. Whereas when I'm going to click on download data, you are actually downloading the geographic data. Basically, this comes as a GeoJSON file. Please remember, that's why I'm saying it's a bit technical thing. Just see what I'm just follow what I'm saying, what I'm showing, so that you will be able to see what are the functionalities which are there and you can actually use it. So what I'm going to do again, I click on more actions, download data. And when I do that, what happens is this is asking downloading GeoJSON data for ANC IPT2 coverage, right? And it gives you a bit of a description saying GeoJSON is supported by most GIS software, including QGIS and ArcGIS desktop, right? I say yes, go ahead, and I'm asking it to download, right? And let me show how it looks like when you have downloaded. Let me just share my other screen in my folder and you will see that this is the particular file, right? Now look at the extension, it is GeoJSON, right? So let us actually try to open it and see what the GeoJSON looks like, right? It should be some kind of a JSON, right? So when I open it in my notepad, this is what I am seeing. Can you all see? So if you are familiar with this format called JSON, this is actually a JSON file, right? So I can even, format it so it'll show much nicely, right? This is how it looks like. So if you are familiar with JSON, right? And basically, what are these? Do you have any idea what these are?
These are longitudes and latitudes.
Longitudes and latitudes. Can longitudes, latitudes be negative? Can longitudes, latitudes be
It's just
negative?
it's just a guess.
Can.
Maybe.
Exactly. It is possible. I'm not, I mean, it's a nice topic to discuss, but unfortunately, we don't have time. But yes, can get negative, right? So basically, this is the GeoJSON file that you are seeing, right? So most of you must be thinking now, what can we do with it, right? I mean, this is just a text file. So what's the value of it? What? What can we do with it? Yeah. What we can actually do is this. You may be familiar that there are some software called GIS software, right? So for example, now they were highlighting, there was this uh, couple of softwares, right? Now, for example, there are many GIS softwares, right? So one is there are two software which is really famous worldwide. One is a proprietary software called ArcGIS. I'm just searching in Google and let's see what happens. Yeah, right. See ArcGIS, right? So ArcGIS, you can search. It's a separate software which has so much of functionality in it, right? Okay. And the one what I'm using mostly is a free and open source software called QGIS, right? So this one, it's a free software. You can just download it when you have time and just try it out. There are different online free courses available to learn how to use this GIS software. So this is a software which is rich in a lot of functionalities which you can use to do proper GIS analysis. Whereas in DHIS2 Maps application, we are doing some limited functionalities. But let me show what I am going to do. Okay. So in fact, I have QGIS software downloaded and installed in my computer. Let me just open it up and see you what it looks like, right? So are you all seeing my screen now? So there is this QGIS application, which I have, of course, open. I'm using version 3.4, but now see, the version 3.10 is available, which I have not used. But yeah, this is the one I have been using, right? So this application, don't get scared. I'm just showing you what it is and what is possible. So this is a different application to DHIS2. This is a standalone desktop application called QGIS, which is a free and open source tool, which is there for GIS analysis. So what I'm trying to show is like now this data that we exported from DHIS2 can actually be used with other GIS software, right? This is what I'm going to show. So the advantage is like when you have this functionality, the people who are actually doing GIS analysis, they can use this data. So if they are not familiar with DHIS2, you can actually make some kind of an integration. So basically you can export data out of DHIS2 and you can import it into QGIS, which is a kind of a cool thing because when you do that, it can actually expand the functionality of DHIS2, right? So let me open and show you the QGIS. You are actually seeing it. And let me just also take that file. Where is my file? Downloads, right? So you can see the GeoJSON file and this is the QGIS. So I'm actually going to open this particular file using QGIS. There are so many ways of doing that. The easiest way is I'm going to drag this GeoJSON file that I have downloaded from DHIS2 and drop it in this layers window in QGIS and let's see what happens. Right. I do that and let's see what happens. There you go. Fascinating, isn't it? So basically what you're seeing here is what? What do you see? What is this? This is the same Sierra, right? Sierra Leone you are seeing and it is opened in, of course, in what? In the QGIS. But like what is missing? you are actually missing the colors that you saw, right? That is because the colors was something that we applied within the DHIS2, which doesn't actually come out when when it is exported. But let's see whether the data is there. I mean, from anywhere we can download the shapefile, the boundary layers of Sierra Leone, right? That is not what we want. For that, we don't need DHIS2. But what we are actually concerned about is the data there, right? This IPT data that we really wanted, is it there? So let's see. Now, just follow what I'm doing, because I know like most of you are not, have not used GIS software. So what I'm going to do is, here also there are so many tools. I'm going to right click here, and there is one thing called open attribute table. So once I do that, I'll be able to see actually what type of data that is available inside this downloaded layer as a table. So I'm going to click on open attribute table, and this is what I see. So what are these? I'm seeing actually the ID of individual health facilities, and these are the health facility names, right? And you, let me just, I mean, you are seeing grandparent ID, parent name, and let me scroll further. And here we go. We have the value, right? These are the IPT values that were actually giving us these colors as legends in that map inside DHIS2. So that, of course, we have, and that is open and that is available in QGIS as well. So for any GIS expert who want to do some, I mean, more work with the data that is collected inside DHIS2, you can use it, because this data is available for download and export and can be opened up using GIS software like QGIS. These values are there, right? There you go. Let me close this table. But if you really want to see these colors, I mean, without confusing you further, but like if you have that interest to see the colors, let me show that for you. I mean, just watch what I'm doing. Don't try to do any of these things right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it, and okay, let me click on properties. So once I click on properties, yes, here we have something called symbology. So symbology basically means like it is, I mean, this is the function which deals with the coloring of individual layers. So right now it's a simple fill that has been applied. So I don't want that one. I don't want single symbol. Let me have something called graduated. Okay. So when I add graduated, this basically lets me select a particular column which has a numeric value, such as the value column, which we actually have the IPT data. I'm selecting that one, right? And then I can actually, based on the value, I can do a color coding, like a legend or automatic legend, right? So it is asking me to select a color ramp. So there are a lot of ramps available. I will just select the one that is here from from white to dark red. And then I will have to ask it to classify, right? Then only it will automatically classify it to the classes we want. We can define the classes. So I have defined 5 classes, and I click on classify. So it will classify everything to these 5 classes based on lowest value and a highest value. And that's it. And I click on OK, and let's see what happens. There we go, right? And we are able to now see the Sierra Leone, which is classified based on the IPT values, right? You can see the white areas, dark red areas, and the legend is appearing here. See, I mean, like the same data, what we did was we just downloaded, and we can replicate the same visualization outside using GIS software as well. This is a really cool feature which expands the functionality of DHIS2, and this is something that the governments really like, because if they have some data analysts who are using GIS analysis, you can directly export data from DHIS2 and make it usable in DHIS2, in GIS softwares outside. So this is what you can do with the downloaded data. I will not proceed any further on QGIS, because I know like for most of you, this is just observation, just looking at what I'm doing, and you may not be familiar with GIS software. So any questions up to this point? I hope everyone understood what I was showing. Can you show the last part again? Okay, Ruan, which part you exactly want me to? Color grading. Okay. I assume you're trying to do what I did, but okay. Yeah. So what I did was, I will quickly show one because I mean, I'm maybe consuming too much time showing this. So what I'm trying to do is I right click on this layer, right? And then I go to properties in QGIS, and inside properties there are so many things available: label, source, information. And what I'm interested in coloring is something called symbology. So by default what comes is single symbol. That is why we are just seeing the entire Sierra Leone in one color, but I select this graduated, right? So when I select graduated, it is asking what, based on what I need to color code. So I have to select based on the columns that are available. I will just select value because that's the one based on which I really want to color, right? And then it is asking me to select a color ramp. So I will just select this one for a change, blue one, right? uh, which is what we actually saw in DHIS2. And once you do that, it is asking us to define the classes, and we have, right? So when I click on classify, it will classify based on the value column and the number of classes, like this. And when I do that, and here also you have this, right, mode, equal interval, right? I mean, quantile, there are so many available. So I will just select equal interval, and that's what I did, and classify, and then I click on OK. When I do that, this is what I see. ArcGIS also should be supported, Derek, but unfortunately I don't have time to demonstrate it in ArcGIS, but make sure that you are actually selecting the correct format when you are importing, right? Because it has to be GeoJSON, but it should be supported. Right, so that's it about the part number 7.